Hey everyone, the project today is going to be to build some cabinets for a spare room that I've got upstairs. My wife has lots of art equipment and we basically want to make the room multifunctional. So at the moment it's a bit of an art studio, but we wanted to use it as a guest bedroom as well. So we need to get all that storage up high into nice looking cabinets. So I'll just show you the space as it is currently and what I wanted to do. Some drawings behind me. So here's a little fly through of the room. We can see we've got lots of stuff on shelving there and all around it, and we want to get that up off the floor, up high, out of the way, out of sight. There's the desk, which will be another project, and we'll put some shelving in with that. That'll be for another day. But our main first unit's going to go there from the wall to the door, and our second unit's going to go from that Velux window all the way to the other wall, so a bit longer. So the plan then is to create a couple of boxes which will look a bit like what I've drawn here. So I'm basically going to use some MDF big sheets, make a box like this, a carcass, a bit like that. It won't have no front on it, it won't have no back on it, but what we're going to do is something called a French cleat, which is like a hanging system where the cabinet will just hang onto the wall and then screw into the battens. So we'll leave an open carcass. We'll have a small piece of wood at the bottom here just to rest against the wall. We'll have another piece at the top here, which will be cut at a 45-degree angle on this bottom edge, which will slot into a matching piece, which is attached to the wall. All should become clear later on when I install it. So with regards to size, I'm going to make two cabinets to begin with. We might add a third if we need a bit of extra storage, but it's going to be, one of them will be 1600mm long, another one will be 1300, so 160 centimeters, and 1.3 meters as the other one as well. So pretty big units to use as one piece. They're going to be 500mm, so 50 centimeters, half a meter tall, which is quite a unit, and 45 centimeters deep, just to get everything in there. So they're going to be big for units. Because of this, because the size of them, initially I wanted to do flip up doors like this, or with gas struts to hold them up so they flip up. But now what I think I'll do is just have two doors on there which will slide across each other, kind of like a built-in wardrobe sort of style. So we'll do that just to save a bit of space, and these can be a bit funny with hinges and things like that sometimes, so keeping it simple that way. One thing to consider though, just because I've said 1600 and 450 there, doesn't mean I'm going to cut that to 1600, because I've got to think about how the mechanics of it, because it's going to get painted, this cabinet anyway, and it's only made of MDF, which is not particularly nice type of wood. I'm not going to do any fancy joints or anything like that to create a good bond. I'm just going to use a mechanical fastener, like a big fat screw, which is going to go through there. So I'm just going to make a butt joint, which is something that would look like this. One piece of wood goes onto this. But because of gravity being one thing, say this is our top piece here. So that's the top section, or bottom. I'm going to make the upright piece sit against it like this. This way, when I put my screw through this gap here, gravity is going to be pushing this down and the weight's going to be wanting to pull that down. So I'll create a nice bond because that's going to go this way. However, say it was the other way around and this was the bottom piece, and I fitted the bottom piece where the longer edge sits underneath and this butts up. If my screw went this way, obviously it's not going to take as much pressure to pull that screw out. If there's a lot of weight pushing down on here, it's better if my piece goes like so, that way, because that weight's just going to bend that screw slightly. It's not going to rip it out. So I'll have to take 18mm off of this piece here on each end in order to account for that space. So first things first is I need to lay out my 8x4 MDF sheets. Get my track saw out, do a bit of measuring up, and make sure I make nice clean cuts to roughly the right size. What I'll be doing is I'll be taking them to the table saw afterwards, shaping them up, making sure everything is identical. So here we are, cutting them up. cutting the doors out, cutting the sides out. Off to the table saw now, and we're making everything the same width so we know it's all going to match up correctly. And here I'm making an 18mm mark on the sides, which is where my screw's going to go. So if I didn't do this, I might put my screw through and it comes out into the unit. Countersinking some holes here so the screws sit under the level of the wood. Here I'm changing out my router bit. I'm using a 12mm straight shank router bit, and that's going to cut the grooves for where my doors will be sliding in and out without them falling out. Using the router here to cut the grooves in place, nice and careful. And now it's time to fit up. So I'm going to screw in the sides, making sure everything's nice and square, 90 degrees to each other, getting the top and the bottom on here. Measuring up now, this is for our cleats, so I need my blade to be at 45 degrees. I'm going to cut a length of wood here, and one of these lengths will go attached to the wall and one will attach to the cabinet. Here I am attaching it to the cabinet. And then just double checking that all the angles match up, and it's going to sit nice and easy on there. Just fitting the doors, seeing that they work correctly. They do, lovely. So getting some filler out now, just going to fill up any holes, mixing that up, popping the filler in where required. So now it's time to cut some holes for the doors, just so you can get your finger in the hole, just to move the door along slightly. Drill in the hole, pop it out, there we go. Everyone's favourite job, but this time it's not so bad as normal. I'm just taking off the filler really and the edging, just making sure it's nice and smooth. Alright then, so the cabinets are made. Got some nice slidey doors in there, everything's sanded up to 120 grit at the moment. And so now it's time to paint. There's no point in me painting the top or the side here, or the back for that matter, because it's all going to be pushed up against the wall, so there's no point wasting paint on that. We're only going to paint the parts that will be seen. So that will be the underside, the right hand side and the internals. So we get doing that now. Just make sure I'm in all the little nooks and crannies. Start on the internals and move us all the way to the outside. Next up, we've got some black quick drying eggshell, and I'm going to do a minimum of 2 coats on this. We'll see if it needs a third one. Again, making sure I get every bit covered. Now the paint for the doors, I got this brown colour here. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I might change that in the future. It's just all I could get at the time. British Building Standards say that all studs in a wall should be about 16mm apart. I spent ages trying to find them. My builders didn't do a very good job basically. But I'm just measuring up, making sure the cleat's going to fit with enough clearance to get the cabinet on. Got the missus involved here to help hang it, fit in the doors, fit on lovely. Here's the bigger of the 2 cabinets, and there you go, straight on, nice and easy. That is the beauty of the French cleat. So here's the finished product. As you can see, we've got the 2 cabinets up there. I did add a little extra bit of trim at the bottom there, a little fascia, and I've stuck some LED lights behind it just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. We will be changing up the desk here in the next few weeks and adding some shelving, and I will show you that when it's done, and we'll have another little video bit like we've had today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please have a look at my Instagram and some of the projects, and if you've got any ideas or anything you want done at your place, I'll be happy to come around and help you out. See you soon. Bye.